Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. We're back. I know it's been a while. Did you miss us? I missed us. I'm glad to be, up and talking and not hacking up a lung. Life
That's
is
important.
Cool. Life is great. Life is wonderful. Breathing is good. For those people that said that COVID was a myth and didn't exist, and it was a big conspiracy, you're full of crap. It sucks. Even if you've been fully vaccinated, boosted, and everything else, and you've taken everything under the sun, yeah, it's horrible. I felt like garbage. I actually took 3 days off of work to be sick. I never take 3 days off of work to be sick. One of those idiots that stay at work. So, anyway, yeah, I'm back. And so we're back on the air, and hopefully we'll be able to stay that way. And we have finally got our movie review done, so look forward to that towards the last half hour of the show. It is really good to be here and able to talk for more than 5 seconds. So, welcome. For those of you that aren't familiar with the show, maybe you're new since we first started. PTR Radio is here where we talk about anything and everything under the sun. If you look at the description for tonight's show, I think you'll see that. We have everything covered. Colin's going to talk about abortion rights. Mike is going to cover, where the left has gone wrong with this country. And, I am going to talk about, frivolous lawsuits and how to get them through court. So, all those topics and more.
Yeah.
You seriously just put me in a position to alienate. you put me in a position to alienate pretty much our entire listener base at this point.
I'm sorry.
Is what you've done.
That is completely wrong. We don't talk about any of those things. No. Instead, we're going to talk about one of the biggest and best businessmen of the entire world first. And that's how we're going to kick off this show. The man who everything he touches literally turns to gold for some reason.
Was indicted.
No, wasn't indicted.
Oh.
No, he hasn't been indicted of anything yet.
Okay.
No, he's won awards not related to selling anything. But he is still too expensive for us to use to advertise. I did look at how much it would be, and it's too expensive.
I do believe he's actually won an award for his selling of products. Like for one of his, I believe he won some kind. I don't want to say Emmy because I don't think Emmys apply to commercials, but I thought he won some kind of award for one of his commercials. I don't remember if it was for Aviator or for Mint, but
yeah.
And I kind of just gave away who we're talking about.
Yeah. So
to anybody with half a brain.
Yeah. So Ryan Reynolds, Canada's favorite son, he has completely replaced anyone else from Canada. So there's no other Canadians that'll even come close. I think that Ryan Reynolds is taking the spotlight for Canada. Okay. Can you guys think of anybody else that Canada would even say, they...
Well, I know some people get very, very defensive if you don't recognize that Geddy Lee from Rush is from Canada. Justin Bieber, as far as I'm concerned, Canada can have him. Celine Dion, perhaps.
Okay, I guess Keanu Reeves is from Canada.
Let's see, Howie Mandel.
Yeah, that's true.
Mike Myers. Michael J. Fox. I like Michael J. Fox. He's pretty good. I hear he's done good
Colin
things.
is doing another update because I hear him, but he's not.
Yeah,
moving.
my machine is still apparently still updating behind the scenes.
Yes.
I'm hoping it.
Well, you're looking very stoic. Canada's got a lot of good exports. Seth Rogen. Yeah, Neil Young. Wow, okay, not Neil Young.
Okay, well, Seth Rogen, listen, no, Seth Rogen, he may very well, he may be right up there on that tier with Ryan Reynolds. for the fact that he is finally someone in Hollywood standing out and saying, "No, I don't want kids. Leave me alone."
Okay, wait a second. I can't trust this list anymore because they list Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Canadian, and he is not Canadian. And their justification is Johnson can technically count himself as Canadian because his dad was born in Nova Scotia. Says he became a Canadian citizen when he was 37. I guess, but geez, that is okay. Dan Aykroyd, Donald Sutherland. Okay, so Canada's got a lot of favorite sons and daughters. Let's put it that way.
Martin Short.
Damn it. All right. Well, I still say he's one of the best selling. Let me put it that way. All right. So, and the reason why we bring this up is because Ryan Reynolds, a few weeks ago, he sold Mint Mobile. He sold Mint Mobile to T-Mobile. Granted, it was a small sale, $1.35 billion.
So, So here's the part that really has me scratching my head. Mint Mobile was basically was just they resold T-Mobile, right? Everything operated on the T-Mobile network.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not quite sure how Mint or how T-Mobile actually valued, because you're still providing all of that bandwidth.
Is the customer segment, though. It's kind of like Boost Mobile, right? Where they just have a customer base, and they were basically renting open airtime on cell towers, I would think.
Well, okay, so Boost was did Boost start out as its own, or was that a prepaid
they were prepaid
from another carrier? Okay, so Boost was a prepaid version of Nextel, I believe, because they both had the push to talk.
Oh, okay. Guess it could be, yeah.
And Boost got bought by.
Didn't they get by?
Was it?
Yeah, it was Sprint.
I
think it was Sprint.
Where they rolled up as part of the Nextel sale. Like I'm trying to remember how that one all worked out, but
yeah.
But this is a case where the brand was started as they leased, like you said, they leased capacity from other vendors, and I'm not going to. The majority of it is from T-Mobile. T-Mobile is notorious for selling capacity on their network to all of these prepaid, like Consumer Cellular and Mint and all of these other. Go to Walmart, buy a SIM card.
I can't blame them if they have capacity they're not using, and they can make a buck off of it. Well, why not? So I think it's a fine idea. I don't know why they wouldn't. But Ryan Reynolds himself is going to make about $300 million from this sale. So, I don't remember exactly how much he bought into it, but it was not that much. He's, that I'm thinking he's making a lot.
And he'll continue to be paid for commercials too.
Yeah, exactly. Because there is typically a clause in there where he will have to stay on in some capacity to continue. To grow the brand and to advertise and whatever. In fact, he already did one post-sale commercial, where he announced that the data plans were getting increased for all Mint Mobile customers. So, because there was a big backlash about Mint Mobile getting sold off. People were under the impression that, hey, we bought into this small company that was going to be locked in terms, and we didn't want to go with one of the big brands. That's why we went towards this. And then to be sold to a big brand was a little bit undermining of the spirit of Mint Mobile. So there was I think there was some backlash At least that's what I had read about online through forums and things like that. So it was important that they do something to counteract that. So
to backtrack and okay, until you said something, I didn't realize that I was frozen. You were still moving, and I could still heard you, and I was throwing names out of Canadians. And until you said something, I thought, it's fine. Martin Short,
yep,
and the entire Levy family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
everybody from SCTV, Schitt's Creek, that entire
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So I mean, it is definitely it's something that
so
he's I think he's going to be okay.
Like I said, oh yeah, I mean, I still don't quite understand the math behind it, and that's not my place to figure that part out. I'm not a bean counter.
No.
The math
but
works
the question
fine
then
on
becomes
the side of things like Mint. It doesn't make sense on the things on the side of the company actually doing the network. Where's the money coming from? Where's the money going, I guess is the question.
Well, I don't know. But so far I think the only thing that hasn't made him a ton of money, and I could totally be wrong on this, the only thing that Reynolds hasn't made a ton of money on so far is the Wrexham thing. Is that like the only loss leader that he has so far?
All right, so he hasn't made money yet.
Right.
Well,
yet.
Actually, no. He personally might have, because he has the money from, or he's at least breaking even, I'm going to guess, because he's got the TV show about it. And he's probably getting the miniseries, like the reality show. He's probably getting a decent amount from that.
I mean, look what happened recently with R.I.P.D. That was a movie that came out with him in it and didn't go anywhere. And suddenly, a couple of months ago, it became this trending thing.
Well, they made a sequel.
Well, they made a sequel, but still, the original one still suddenly showed up on Netflix, and everybody was watching it, and it became something, people were... So,
yeah.
I guess it's saying never count out anything that Ryan Reynolds did, because it may come back.
Oh, no. I'm just saying it hasn't maybe not has done it yet. Although I will say that, the merchandising from Wrexham, he's doing a great job on. Evidently, it says here that Wrexham has sold over 24,000 shirts during the 22/23 season so far. And that was as of the end of January. So, I think people who don't even care about football will buy a Wrexham shirt just, to have one. And, it was a small purchase too. Think about it. The sale of Wrexham in total was $2.76 million. For Reynolds at this point, that is pocket change.
Okay, so not only does he have Wrexham, he is he joined in with a developer or a funding group called Remington Group to buy the Ottawa Senators, which is an NHL hockey team. He also has his production company, Maximum Effort, which signed a deal with Fubo to be like the primary streaming partner for any of their productions.
Well, and he has Mountain Advertising, that he's doing, where he's specifically doing digital sales.
Still got, okay, so we mentioned Mint Mobile. He's got Wealth Simple, which is an online Canadian wealth management service that has a valuation of $5 billion.
And
now he is an investor. He is not an owner, but it just says he's an investor.
And I just saw a new commercial for him for a Canadian payment company. Another Canadian payment technology company?
Nuve.
Yeah,
Nuve. Yes.
Yeah.
And 1Password, which is a Canadian password management software. Now, see, here's the thing. He's getting all of this payment in like Canadian. Well, technically, his value is about, I don't know, $600.
Well, I just read here.
With the way the exchange rate is going.
Blake Lively's net worth is $30 million. His net worth right now is around $150 million. So that's a fairly good power couple, you know?
I mean, they're no J-Lo and Affleck, but you know, they're getting there.
They're working on it, you know. Oh,
they're no Kurt and Goldie. But,
no.
They're also married, so there's that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you want to fall into conformity. Speaking of big money, Mike, you looked up the Oscars and the gift bags that were given at the Oscars, and some interesting facts about those gift bags.
My God. I know the Oscars. I'm going back to find the link now.
I remember gift bags when I went to childhood birthday parties, you know, and you got like a Pez dispenser and one of those straws filled with colored sugar, you know, and maybe like a ring pop and a balloon, you know, and that was big deal. You know, I thought I was awesome. I'm like, ooh, this is fancy, but it's nothing compared to what these gift bags are.
Oh, no. These gift bags are ridiculous, man. According to... Where does it say exactly how much this is worth? The value of the included items, which was... this year was Everyone Wins bag. The total value was estimated at roughly $123,000. This is a gift bag to nominees. The problem here that folks didn't realize is, and for a lot of these celebrities, this is a drop in the bucket compared to what they make, but this is now considered taxable income.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and part of that is because of what some of this stuff in the bags are. Now, I don't know if anybody clicked through, and it was a month ago, so maybe you forgot. But if you click through, there's a link that lists everything included in these bags.
I didn't see the link that had everything included, but
it's it is a press release from the company that put them together.
Oh, okay.
And I just dropped it into.
I got it.
Right?
What's inside the bags?
So let's just run through some of these things here, okay? Tequila. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Antigua Cruz Anejo Cristalino Tequila. Okay, if you can say all of that after doing a shot, then it's not that good.
Yep.
Bath sets, Art Lipo Body Sculpting. So you're getting gift certificates for services in here. Bauman Medical Comprehensive Hair Restoration Services and Hair Wellness Products. Fake hair for Hollywood.
3-night stay at the Ferro Punta Immatore Lighthouse in Isha, Italy. $9,000 value. Okay, here's something right along our lines, because I have, well, it's not 1 square meter. I have 1 square foot of a private island. They were given 1 square meter plot of land in Australia through Pieces of Australia Conservation Project, valued at a mere $50.
So now they're going to have to pay property tax on that.
Not usually. Not usually on those things. I don't have to pay property tax on my 1 square foot.
No, because they don't really exist.
Oh, my God. This is an insult. Private hair restoration consultation with a hair transplant surgeon?
Well, it's private. See, like, this is the thing. And this is just for showing up.
Yeah.
Because you're nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like some of this stuff.
Technically, the gift bags aren't official. So it's just this company that puts together this gift bag and tries to get the celebrities to take it so that they can advertise it.
So there's 27 recipients of this year's gift bag. The host, the best director nominees, best actor, best actress, best supporting actor, and best supporting actress, who don't need many of these things.
Yeah. Okay, and just to kind of clarify a little more, for what Colin, the easier way, Colin, I guess, to say this would be that this is not a gift bag sponsored by the Academy. This is a firm that puts these together on their own to give as a form of advertising in the hopes that one of these celebrities will endorse products within that. That's the purpose of including or getting your stuff included. Yeah, that's the.
They actually the Academy actually sued the company a couple of years back because they didn't want them to keep pretending that they were official.
Just kind of nuts, but that's Hollywood. I mean, that is what it is.
And actually, there's a big statement at the very bottom that says the Everyone Wins nominee gift bags are not affiliated in any way with the Oscars or the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. AMPAS does not award, sponsor, endorse, or provide these gift bags.
Yeah.
And neither the Academy nor Distinctive Assets wants there to be any association between the Everyone Win gift bag and the Oscars or the Academy. So we're giving them out and they give them, this company does this at the Kids' Choice Awards, MTV Music Award. They do it at every award show possible.
They give liposuction
and again, the hope is,
gift certificates at the Kids' Choice Awards?
Have you seen some of the actors and actresses, the same ones that are Grammy nominated, are nominated at the Kids' Choice Awards?
Okay. I was just
some of them are just as bored than either one.
So I don't know. Some of these actors and actresses may get multiple sessions out of these gift bags. Who knows?
I guess maybe they need that. Oh. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, what I wish I had gotten was a gift bag that included a free car, because I recently had to. I guess the right term would be upgrade my vehicle. I was getting over being sick. My wife was getting over being sick, but right before we both got sick, my wife went to a funeral. And then on the drive to the cemetery, her sunroof exploded just out of nowhere.
Oh, fun.
It was closed. It just poof. And so we had to get a replacement. 5 weeks is what it took. But around, 2 days before they called to say it was in, my wife's like, I'm really not doing well getting in and out of your low-slung Accord because she's used to an SUV. And so I said, well, I really didn't want to, get it. My car was just about paid off. I had like 3 payments left, and boom, we were going to be down to 1 car payment. Awesome. We're going to start making progress. And we had just had a conversation about how every time we start to get into that point where we're going to make progress, something comes along and smacks us on the face. And I said, well, I really don't want to get into having 2 car payments again, but, I am kind of beating up my car, treating it like a truck, throwing ladders and whatnot in it, and 2x4s. Accords aren't really meant to haul lumber. Can you imagine that? I mean, what the hell were they thinking when they designed the thing? 8-foot-long 2x4s don't fit in there very well, but they do fit.
No,
they do. They will fit. They'll touch They'll touch the windshield and the back of your trunk, but they'll fit. But I'm like, so while I still have it in fairly good condition, it might be a good time to go ahead and trade it in, and at the same time move up a step to an SUV that I can treat more like a truck and that you can get in and out of easier. but I wanted to go with a hybrid because I did not want to sacrifice gas mileage, because that was the whole goal of getting my car, was to get something that got good gas mileage that we could take on vacation. Funny enough, we haven't taken my car on the last couple of vacations because my wife didn't like how small it was, so we've been taking her gas guzzling Passport. So didn't really work out in the long run anyway. But so now I have purchased a Honda CR-V hybrid in what they call radiant red, and you know, it's actually getting better gas mileage than my car was, but it is a bit different to drive. My wife got in it to drive it the other day. She puts her foot on the brake, presses the little start button, and is holding it in. And I said, "Don't, just let go." And she goes, "But the engine hasn't started." I said, "It's not going to." I'm like, it won't. I'm like, it's on battery right now. You're fine. I'm like, just tap it. That's all you have to do. And then when it says ready on the dash, you're good to go. Just put it in drive, or put it in reverse. And so she puts it in reverse, and then it starts making this ethereal little humming noise. She's like, "What the hell is that?" And I said, "That tells you you're moving." I said, "So that you know that you're moving." And she goes, "I don't know if I like this." I said, "Well, this is what we got now." So, you know,
used to it.
Yeah, I've gotten used to it at this point. I said, but the one thing you will really like is, unlike her Passport, which has that stupid engine cutoff thing, when you come to a stop, it turns the engine off, and then when you want to go, it turns the engine back on and goes. I said, unlike that thing, where you're constantly disabling that, I said this, you know, the engine isn't running all the time, and you are, you know, when you hit the gas, you're going. There's no question about it. You're actually like going. So, you know, it's just you're going on battery, but you're immediately going when you hit the gas. So there you go. Yeah. And she goes, "Well, I do like that." And I said, "Yeah."
And the big difference is in those stupid start things, you know, you're using the starter motor every single time. So that little piddly starter motor is, you know, at the side of the flywheel doing its thing, and it's going to die all the time. You know, with at least with the Honda, you know, you have the entire electric generator motor wired in reverse, spinning the engine up to full speed, and then it just starts spraying gas. So there's no pressure on the engine. It just does its thing.
Yeah. But so
my thing is, you're going to run into this, Shaggy. You're going to have someone who hears you have a CRV, and they're going to complain about your constant velocity transmission and how much they hate those. And then your reply is, no, you don't understand. It doesn't have a transmission. It doesn't have a constant velocity transmission. It has no transmission.
Yeah. So, you know, it is a little bit different to drive, but, you know, you get used to it after a while. So I've gotten used to it at this point. But it does have way too many bells and whistles for me. Way too, because we're in that car market right now where it's like, you can't, I remember the car market when I bought my Accord. I comparison shopped. I did all this stuff. I went and I like dealt with the car shop, and I'm like, okay, listen, this is what somebody said they'll give me for my trade-in. This is what somebody else said they'd offer, you know, I could get the car for versus what you're advertising it for, and I could like make a deal, right? That's not the situation right now. Situation right now is, oh, you have a car? Let me pay what sticker price is, please. Because there's nobody else that has cars. So luckily I was able to find someone who had a car here, and I didn't have to drive like 3 hours for it. But the only car they had that wasn't white, because I don't really like white cars, was the Sport Touring model, the almost top-of-the-line model. And so my wife is happy because it's got remote start, because it's got seat warmers, but it also has heated steering wheel. It's also got, you know, all this other crap. And I'm like, I just wanted Android Auto. That's all I really wanted. And if it was wireless Android Auto, cool. But that's all I really wanted. You know, but yeah, it's got all this garbage on it that is just gonna break. So, yeah.
No, it's not going to break, but you know, it's still the. Does it have the cooled seats or just the heated seats?
No, they don't evidently put the cooling seats in the touring model. I don't know, but they also, the other thing that it doesn't have that I don't understand why the top of line model doesn't have it. It doesn't have the damn garage door opener built into the rear view mirror. Like, how do you not have that stupid thing in there?
How does it not? I mean, how does it not have that?
I don't know. They got it in like the next up from the base model, but they don't got it in the top of the line model. I guess they figure that you probably just have an attendant who stands there by the garage door and opens it up all the time for the price they charge you. Some guy named.
I mean, it's not in the mirror, but it should be up on the ceiling somewhere.
No, not there. I looked in the manual. It says, "Sorry, you're too highfalutin. Get Jeeves to open it for you." So, but funny enough, I wasn't the only person to get a new vehicle. Colin, you said your mom and dad are truckers now. Are they long haul or short haul? You know,
that's it. They decided that they didn't want to pull the camper anymore with the Flex. So they sold the older Flex to my sister, and then got a 2018 F-150.
Man, how they can't pull many semi trailers with that. I wanted to see him.
Okay.
I wanted to see him going around the country. You know,
it is the F-150 with the absolute maximum tow rating. So for that year. So it has the 3.5 EcoBoost and it's 2-wheel drive. So there is no F-150 from 2018 that can pull more than. Not that they want to do that.
Mike, can you just imagine Colin's parents pulling up in some like big rig 18-wheeler, just getting out, you know, at some like, you know, Flying J, you know, just walking up, you know, paying for the showers.
Yeah, I don't know YouTube, but I can definitely, you know, see them doing that. I mean, remember, my mother grew up on the farm. She learned how to drive on a tractor. They did for many years. I don't think they have it anymore, but they used to have a commercial driver's license on, thing on there because they drove the church van.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
you said it's got the 3.5 EcoBoost, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Then the comment that I made about never wanting to hear the phrase cam phasers is 100% valid.
Yes, it is. Well, they have, okay. So there's two things about that. One is they have redesigned the cam phasers. So if
I know.
they need to
I have them in my truck.
So if they need to be replaced, they can now get the new ones. And we now know if that happens to make sure they really do install the new ones, not the old stock of the old ones. Part two of that is they bought the warranty.
Okay.
What cam phasers? What about the piston photon torpedoes? Did they get that option?
No, you're thinking of the 8, which is well known for being a black hole of oil.
Okay. So
yeah, this is the EcoBoost. It doesn't drink oil like it's trying to be a major shareholder of the oil companies. So yes, actually, the answer, Mike, in the next couple of years, is it actually would probably be a good thing if the cam phasers went out, because then they could get them replaced under warranty for a $50 deductible.
Yeah, mine were yes, because the service advisory, I believe, expired last year.
Yes.
So I did not even have to pay for mine. It was I have seen horror stories where it is a $3,500 to $4,000 repair because they have to basically take the entire front end off in order to get.
Not just the front end; they take the entire truck off the engine.
Well, yes, they lift the body, but the entire front of the engine has to come off because they have to, because of the way Ford designed it.
Yes. First they remove the truck from the engine, and then they remove half the engine from the engine as well. Yes.
So speaking of traveling, which your mom and dad do, an article came out talking about stereotypes of different states, and I'm curious if the ones that we are familiar with are most likely true. So we may not go through all these, but I think some of them probably bear a little bit of analysis here. So, and I think this goes in alphabetical order. So Alabama,
yes,
they say the stereotype is Bible thumping rednecks.
I don't necessarily agree with that one. I agree with the second one. College football has overtaken these poor souls' lives. Yes, because you cannot speak to somebody. Where are you from? Alabama. Yes, Roll Tide. Those are the next word. You'd think the state was named Alabama Roll Tide.
Yeah. Or War Eagle. Next one, Alaska. Lots of oil is drilled here. Very cold. From what I know of ice road trekkers, that's about right.
And crab fishing. Beautiful.
Yeah, crab fishing. Very grizzled, men. Arkansas, small town folk who basically live in Walmart. Boy, I feel like that could apply to a lot of states. But
Walmart has a special love for Walmart since the headquarters are there.
Okay. Arizona, retired California baby boomers. Okay, I know a lot of people that retired to Arizona. I just do, and it is a retirement haven. Mike, you got to look.
No, what I know of Arizona, every person my age that ever went to school out there wound up with some kind of brain damage. So depending on what phase of your life you go to Arizona, you're either gonna, you might wind up wearing a diaper either way. I mean, I don't know. It's.
I would say that the stereotype I don't think sounds correct. I would go with Arizona, retired people who don't like moisture.
Yeah, it's a dry heat.
Yeah, because then they'll have Florida.
That should be the state motto.
Retired people who like to be underwater.
California, a couple of different ones. Let's see here. Pretentious and fake people, too expensive for people to live, so full of homeless people, best weather in the country, probably the world, especially in Southern California. Too expensive for people to live seems to be about right.
Yeah. And pretentious and fake, I mean, that's pretty much Hollywood.
Yeah, I don't know that it's all of California, but it's definitely a subset.
Yeah.
Colorado, mountain Californians with somehow even more weed. Obnoxious stoners who think marijuana is a personality and software engineers who frequent Reddit. Boy, Colorado has a real weed fixation.
Because it was the first state to legalize it.
I know, but it wasn't like the only. What is it, like 36 states now?
Yeah, but they were the first.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like I said, they're not the only. Connecticut, elitist yuppies. Mike, you're in that corner of the world.
Yes, I will agree. No, I'm going to agree with this. All right, Connecticut has the nerve to think that they have the best pizza in America.
What? That's not even possible.
And we'll argue with that.
Now, no one has ever said.
Connecticut will say.
Ever heard of Connecticut pizza?
No one has ever said, I really crave a Connecticut pizza. Nobody.
And New Haven.
It's like
New Haven. Go look on Barstool.
The fight is between
what's
Chicago deep dish and New York thin.
What?
And then Detroit in the middle.
I'm telling you, New Haven allegedly,
is
according to Portnoy,
thin crust coal-fired Neapolitan pizza, common in New Haven, Connecticut. No.
I will say coal-fired pizza is good, but I've gotten it in Florida, so.
Delaware, somebody says I. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was going to say, the other thing with Connecticut, that's the home of World Wrestling Entertainment. So there you go. No. Delaware, yes, where all the corporations and Joe Biden live, because there's no income tax.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
There's a lot of other states to do that, but Delaware is the easiest place for companies not to have anybody.
Oh yeah, you could just have you can have a post office box, and you can, and you can open up. You can get your LLC or whatever.
Florida, I love this one. Theme parks, meth addicts, rednecks, Cubans, and copious amounts of alligators. The other senior states.
I've often referred to Florida as heaven's waiting room.
So, I have a Florida thing to come back to after we're done with this segment.
All right. Georgia. All soda is called Coke. Atlanta is the center of contemporary Black American culture and trap music. I think they meant rap music.
No.
They meant trap?
Trap is a new music genre. Admittedly, when I log on to my record pool every day or every other day, if that is a genre that I do not download anything from, because quite frankly, none of my clientele has ever once requested it. There are certain genres. There's one called Jersey Club that I don't touch either, because most of the music starts at around 185 beats per minute. And no, not doing it. And yes, all soda is called Coke. If you ask for you ask for a Pepsi, you're gonna get shot, literally.
Yeah. Hawaii, most expensive state, year-long warm weather, and home of Honolulu. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the most expensive state to live in. Illinois, we're going to skip Idaho because it just says potato-growing country bumpkins. Illinois, it's one of the most average states. Lots of corn here. And then the other one, where politicians go to get arrested, Chicago gets a bad rap for crime, too. Boy, nail on the head right there. Boom. You got it. We are the C grade of the states.
Come here for Lincoln, then run away.
You know, if you want to be in the dead center of nowhere, here we are.
But y'all are getting a NASCAR race in downtown Chicago. That's saying something, right?
Well, I mean, I guess if the other thing that Chicago's known for is turning their river green on St. Patty's Day. You know.
Oh, the other thing we're known for is the semi-famous guy on YouTube who makes giant swords and used to have a Discovery Channel show. Now lives here.
Well,
don't you guys also have? Isn't the lead pipe thing? Didn't that originate in Illinois, or I got my cities mixed up?
Lead pipe thing. What lead pipe thing?
What was this? Which city was the first one that everybody started suing the city about? Oh, it's Detroit.
Yeah,
okay,
Detroit.
never mind.
Indiana.
Detroit, Chicago, they're pretty much the same shit.
Yeah, pretty much. Indiana, a shittier Illinois. Oh, and corn. I love that one.
Well, wait. Illinois has corn.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So
yeah, but we also
we got soybeans too.
We have we're more soybean. We do have lots of corn though.
Yeah, we sell a lot to Japan. Iowa, our food is grown here, I guess. Corn and presidential candidates.
What is this? More corn. Okay.
Kansas, more corn. Kentucky, horse riders and rednecks. People with no teeth in horse racing. Bourbon, horses, Mitch McConnell, and hill people.
What the fuck are hill people?
Oh, that should have been in like West Virginia. Not in Kentucky.
What did they mean by hill people? Because I seem to remember we used to have a listener that was like, "Oh, up on the hill, we would drink the moonshine when the sun went down, and that was our TV." I'm like, whoa! How you on the internet? Hold on.
Well,
what are hill people? Somebody explain this to me.
Well, they're people that live up in the hills.
Looking down at you, being like, "We want you too, Malachi. Come on now."
In the hills and the hollers. If you live somewhere between the hills and the hollers. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Louisiana, drive-through daiquiris, Mardi Gras, alligators, and great food. Maine, lobsters, and Stephen King.
Pretty much.
Maryland, people who eat a shit ton of crabs. They really like their flag. Massachusetts, thick accented patriots, stands who can't drive for crap and are afraid to talk anything. All right.
Okay, so I have a saying when I'm driving back from Maine. When you get onto the Mass Pike, that's where all the mass holes are.
Yep.
Because none of them can drive at all.
Michigan, another one of our neighbors, an apocalyptic wasteland. That's just Detroit. Minnesota, overly kind people with funny accents. Basically Canadians, a lot of lakes. Mississippi, poorest and worst state in the union. If your state is shit, you can say thank God for Mississippi because it's worse. Missouri, half delicious barbecue and half people strung out in trailer parks.
Okay.
Yeah. Montana, mostly grizzly bears. Nebraska, 4 letters, CORNN. Nevada, godless gamblers and strippers.
Yeah.
You know what? So I brought up a map of all of the corn production in the U.S. by state.
Yeah.
They really should have said Nevada, no corn. It is one of the very few states that doesn't grow corn.
Nothing grows in the desert.
New Hampshire doesn't really have a major city. Feels more like a Boston suburb.
Yep.
Oh, here we go, Mike. New Jersey. Sunburnt mobsters. Corrupt political machines, the mafia, the shore, Guidos, urban decay, and expansive suburbs. Expansive suburbs.
Let's break this one down.
Yeah.
Corrupt political machines. We don't normally talk about politics on this show. However, I'm going to say I got to get the F out of Jersey because I hate every single politician in this godforsaken armpit of America.
Yeah, but let's just say we got you beat in Illinois. Ours have been caught. That's how bad they are.
Ours are getting caught on the local level. So the low men on the totem pole are the ones getting caught. The mafia, well, I don't know. I don't run in no circles, but I guess so based off of watching The Sopranos.
Yeah.
The shore, yes. One of the few states in America that charges you to get on the beach. Guidos. As much as I hate to say this, Jersey Shore is not a caricature of New Jersey. It is a subculture of New Jersey, and that be the Guido.
Mm-hmm.
Urban decay. Yes, because our towns are falling apart while our taxes go up. Our infrastructure is garbage. And an expansive McMansions out the wazoo. Started the American dream was 40 acres and a mule. In New Jersey, it's 4,000 square feet on a quarter acre with 5 bathrooms. That's the New Jersey dream. In case you haven't figured it out, I despise my home state.
Yep.
Although there are good things about New Jersey, like in 2021, you're to 63 million bushels of corn.
They're good.
Pork roll. Pork roll. You got pork roll.
Well, yeah. All right. But I'm a little disappointed. So there are several good things in New Jersey. My name isn't on at the tip of everybody's tongue. Damn it.
Well, I mean, obviously
I am a freaking delight.
But if you move, you are not in New Jersey anymore.
Yeah.
That is correct.
You being
Property
there
values
won't
will go
keep
down
you,
when I leave.
You being there won't keep you there because you will be wherever you are.
That's some Inception level stuff that you just said right there.
Here's what I will say.
I'm catching up. Hold on.
Mrs. 8-Man is in New Jersey.
She wants to get out worse than me.
Well, damn.
She's the one on Zillow looking.
Well, if you could find some place in maybe upstate New York area, somewhere around maybe like the Finger Lakes area, that would be great. Maybe with a separated building, maybe like a mother-in-law suite or something like that. That'd be great. Listen, extra parking spot.
Because as much as I hate New Jersey, New York is worse.
All right.
And upstate New York is even worse because you're dealing with all the New York bureaucracy and not living close to something. No, we're looking. Let's move on.
Okay.
I'll let you know when we get to where we're looking.
All right.
Before we move on, because we got to say, the issue is, Mike, we don't want you to feel bad that you're going to make New Jersey worse by leaving it. That's
I ain't going to feel bad.
We're not saying you're the best part of New Jersey. You just happen to be in New Jersey at the moment.
Okay.
North Carolina.
All right.
Overly gracious, but kind of stupid Southern folk. Definitely. North Dakota, empty. Ohio, pretty average. Reed, Illinois. Yeah. Oklahoma, wannabe Southerners. Mm-hmm. Oregon, hipsters and socialists. Crunchy granola people. Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's one of the most dangerous states to live in now, too.
Yeah. Pennsylvania, pretty average. They have Amish people, I guess.
So, let's talk about this.
About Pennsylvania?
Because one of the key things that we look at now when Kim looks up an address on Zillow is how close is it to Amish communities?
What?
Because
does she want to become a Mennonite?
No, because if it's too close to the Amish, that means it's close to puppy mills, and we're going to become ninjas sneaking in every night to steal dogs from the puppy mills.
Oh, Jesus.
So we can't live too close to.
No, you can't be Robin Jebediah, or Ezekiel. They'll come at you with a pitchfork.
Pitchfork, nothing. We've heard stories where they sit by they post guards by their kennels with the shotguns now because they're on to the people trying to rescue from the mills.
All right, Rhode Island, forgotten yuppies. Yes. South Carolina, North Carolina, and Florida's inbred child. Yes.
That's accurate.
South Dakota, Mount Rushmore is here. That is all. Tennessee, country and blues musicians. Mm-hmm, yeah, it's nice to drive through.
So, and this has nothing to do with moving, but I do have to say, Nashville is on my bucket list of places to go.
I've driven through it. I have not stopped. I've driven through it many times. There is
a NASCAR track there that I keep telling my buddy that we need to plan to go to a race at Nashville Motor Speedway.
You know, if you guys do that, that's close enough. Colin and I can be there.
That's a day trip.
Yeah, that's easy for us to get to. That's like 6 hours.
Okay, and y'all are going to sit at a NASCAR. Well, go ahead.
I will say, I mean, they have no income tax there, so that's another no income tax place. But it is a good place to visit.
Okay.
Texas, gun-wielding pastors and cowboys who love their state a little too much. Agreed.
Yeah.
Utah, Mormons, lots and lots of Mormons. Vermont,
Yes.
rich socialists, where Bernie Sanders is senator and where we get our maple syrup. Very pleasant. Very just pleasant to drive through. Been through there twice
crunchy granola people. That enough makes me say there's no way in hell.
But in a different
that
direction than Oregon.
it.
Think jam bands, not indie. Ben and Jerry's is here too.
No.
I was so mad.
Hell
Ben
no.
and Jerry's was closed for tours when we went through. I really wanted to
tell you
tour Ben
something.
and Jerry's.
Think jam bands. Yeah, okay. I want to live someplace that can be compared to a 24/7 fish concert, okay? That's not going to happen. Ever.
I could do
Ever.
A fish. I could do a fish concert. I could do a fish concert.
Hell no.
Yes.
Hell no. I have never been stoned in my life, but damn it, if you're going to take me to a fish concert, you better get me some serious Connecticut-style edibles because those yuppies got the good shit.
Yeah.
But I'm going to need it to get through a fish concert.
Yeah, I could do that. I could just sit and chill. You know?
You said those new Pepperidge Farms weed fish.
Virginia.
No, I need Snoop Dogg style fish. I'll go to a fish concert.
Virginia, they have ham and peanuts here. Washington, Oregon, slightly saner and even rainier cousin. West Virginia,
And,
hillbillies,
and even more corn.
yeah, hillbillies and miners. Yes.
I know he don't listen anymore, so I can just say this. Just a reminder that Sloan hosted a goddamn show, was from West Virginia.
I think he moved back.
That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
He did move back.
Yep. Wisconsin, cheese and beer. Wisconsin is very drunk, not an unfounded stereotype. Our drinking culture is pretty out of control. Absolutely. Absolutely. They are professional alcoholics there.
So great state to go to as long as you're not lactose intolerant.
Oh, but if you like meat, they have some of the best smokehouses there for like summer sausage, beef sticks, bacon. Oh my goodness, steaks, ribs, you name it, briskets. They have some amazing meat shops.
That's fair. I have a story about that when we get done here. But Wyoming,
nobody lives there.
Nobody lives there. I need to live in Wyoming then. Can I get internet? That's all I need to know.
That would be the hard one.
So there's some good butchers out in Pennsylvania as well. And on Saturday, my friend and I drove out there and made our biannual haul from the butcher. Got myself an entire hindquarter butchered. And the only reason we went with the hindquarter this time is because there was only 3 of us. And instead of trying to figure out who gets what when we split up a full cow, it was just easier. Well, nobody. I'm the only one that figured out how to cook chuck roasts and shoulder roasts, and that's pretty much what you get of when you do a full. Let's just do hindquarters. So I got a freezer full of meat now. $3.79 is what it worked out to.
Not bad.
Got a crap ton of chopped meat, all cryovac into 1 pound bricks.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. Some burgers, more strip steaks and fillets than I know what to do with, because we had them debone it. So instead of having porterhouse and T-bones. We got strips and fillets. 4 of the biggest London broils I've ever seen in my entire life. What else was in there? Steaks, some beef cubes. I got 2 giant bags of marrow bones that I can cook up for the dogs or use for soup.
Yep.
I don't even remember what else. Oh, some minute steaks, like the chip steaks.
Yep.
All of that. When we figured it all out at the price of meat, I got pretty much 200 pounds of meat out of the thing at $3.79 a pound.
Yep.
Compared to like London broil is like $8 a pound.
Oh yeah.
Around here, strip steaks, pretty much I think like $5 or $6 a pound depending on where you go, and this is all grass fed. Oh.
Yep. We normally buy a half a cow at a time, and we normally go in with somebody else, and yep, it pretty much fills up our stand-up freezer. So that's what we've been doing.
Oh yes.
Also, I guess people who aren't close to the Midwest don't know this, but if you like going to a Cape Cod type area, that's the entire thumb of Wisconsin.
Okay.
But
good
Mike,
to know.
That's...
What?
You talked about buying a cow, but how are you going to reduce your environmental footprint if you keep buying cows?
Well, we've had this discussion before, and by removing a cow, which is a giant source of methane, I am reducing greenhouse gases that are produced.
I mean, because wasn't it the mayor of New York who said that by 2030, the city of New York needs to reduce their food-related emissions by 33%?
Okay, so let's talk about Mayor Adams. You just want to see me have the aneurysm today, don't you? Let's just talk about Mayor Adams here. All right. He's not even clear about, first of all, 2030, he's going to be out of office by then. All right. There ain't no way he's in his first term, and he can only run one more time. So he's going to be out of office. So that 2030 is beyond his term. Good luck with that. Mm-hmm. Now, he's not saying largest source of emissions in New York City. Now, is he talking about delivery services? I don't know. Maybe. What exactly qualifies as food emissions? Food-related emissions? Well, I don't get it.
He said every year, New York City spends roughly $300 million buying food for public school students, for detainees on Rikers Island, and for patients admitted into its 11 public hospitals. The city estimates that its food purchases produce as much carbon as the annual exhaust from more than 70,000 gas-fueled cars. In 2021...
How is that calculated?
I don't know. Magic. In 2021, during the last year of Bill de Blasio's mayoralty, the city committed to cutting its food-related emissions by 25% by 2030. So the guy who isn't even mayor anymore said we're going to cut it by 25% by 2030. And now you got this guy coming in saying, oh, I'm going to do better. I'm going to cut it by 33%.
So, first of all, Eric Adams is, I don't know if he's vegetarian or vegan, but he's one of those cults, right? So, of course, he's the hospital system, the state hospital system, has gone to a plant-based menu. So here we go. Hear me now. If I am ever injured in New York and require hospitalization, somebody better cart my ass, throw my ass over a bridge, make me swim. I don't care. Drive me to New Jersey. Get me over the frickin' border and then call 911, because I will be damned if I am in the hospital recovering and I can't get a friggin' hot dog. Okay? I can't get friggin' pork roll or bacon.
Nurse,
and
quick,
don't try and
bacon,
serve me
stat.
soy bacon. Don't try and we have soy bacon. We have a carrot bacon. I will shove my shoe someplace where you're going to be hospital, because you can call a proctologist and surgeon to come get it out. You are not going to get no. And to your point, okay, so plant-based, all right? That means there's going to be a lot of cauliflower mixed in with this, all right? Mashed potato, okay? Do you realize how much more methane you're going to be having me produce as a result of eating this plant-based diet? I am now going, you are no longer going to be carbon neutral as a result of this, okay? I am going to be blowing the solar panels off of the roof of that damn hospital. I'm going to be, if you put me on the beach after this and aim me towards the ocean, maybe I will generate enough of a wind that you'll get a net gain, because I'll drive the wind turbines that you're building offshore that are killing all of the dolphins and whales because of the sonic surveys you're doing. I mean, no, you cannot tell people that this is a God-given right that I should have meat. You need protein to recover from surgeries. You need iron and you're plant-based. So where's the spinach grown to get the iron? You're going to truck that in, which means more emissions because, trucks and, I don't know, trains.
But, Mike, after you get hit by a cab in New York City,
which, by the way, are running on electric in New York, so I didn't hear it coming, so do I get to sue?
I mean, after they set your leg and they put you up, in a semi-private room, don't you want to relax and eat your cauliflower steak?
Cauliflower steak. Oh, you really, okay. Okay, yeah.
With your riced cauliflower mashed potatoes, and that that's a whole.
This is what I want somebody got to look up and find. Okay, the menu in these hospitals. All right, does it tell you, like, is it up front saying that it's cauliflower mashed potatoes, or does it just say mashed potatoes and try and fool you? Because if it tries to fool you, then you better hear me now, okay?
Mike.
If I am in a New York hospital because nobody heard my directive to get my ass over the border before you call 911, and they try to pass off, or you better make sure that they put me in the psych ward. If they're passing off mashed potatoes, cauliflower mashed potatoes as regular mashed potatoes, because look, I can taste the difference.
What if they're offering you one of the mayor's own recipes of jackfruit and okra gumbo?
Of what did you just call me?
Jackfruit and okra gumbo and he is a pescatarian, by the way.
Oh, he's a pescatarian.
Yeah.
So we're allowed to have fish in the hospital. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
They're full of mercury.
No,
but, you can eat
because
them.
they said because they said they went plant-based. So,
yeah.
I'm reading this for the first time, Mike, and I actually, after reading how this works, I'm like,
the schools.
I've been in a hospital recently, and it's like they're going to by default bring you a plant-based meal, and it's going to come with a person who tries to convince you that it's a good idea. And then if you don't agree that it's a good idea, then they can replace it. But first, they have to try to indoctrinate you into the idea that you should be eating a plant-based meal.
Well, they're already doing it from New York schools. New York City schools already abstain from serving meat on Mondays and Fridays. Mondays and Fridays are meat-free Mondays and Fridays.
Okay, so meat-free, veggie Mondays. Yeah. I was a supporter of that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And Fridays, meat-free. Well, Fridays when I usually square pizza. So I'd be okay if that's what they were one of the alternatives. Pizza on Fridays. Okay. But now, if you're going to give me pizza in school, it better don't, and on a Friday, and it's supposed to be meat-free Friday, don't try and give me that vegan cheese. Have y'all had this vegan cheese?
I stay away from vegan cheese.
No.
Okay. Vegan cheese, y'all know the mini Baby Bells that come in the wax, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you want to try to experience vegan cheese, peel the wax on one of those mini Baby Bells, take the cheese, throw it over your shoulder, and chew on the wax. That's pretty much what you're dealing with.
Vegan cheese is made of soy, nuts, vegetable oils, and other various natural ingredients like peas or arrowroot.
What I hear from people who should know is that cashew-based, then that's pretty good. And by people who know, I mean people I've seen online who have actual diagnosed milk allergies, so they cannot have dairy. And so they say cashew cheese is actually something worth eating. But if it isn't cashew cheese, then it isn't.
Okay, so Mama Blair wrote in saying, how do you know the percentages? All depends on how data is collected and interpreted and spun to come up with some. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is the thing about statistics. I've said it before on this show. I will say it again. If you've never seen the movie Thank You for Smoking, there is a scene in that movie where Nick Naylor, the main character, is talking to his son, telling his son, what is your favorite flavor of chocolate? Or favorite flavor of ice? He says, well, mine is vanilla and mine is better. Well, how do you prove that? I don't have to prove that vanilla is better. I just have to prove that the chocolate isn't better. It's all about spinning the statistics. And you need cow manure to fertilize the cauliflowers. Well, this is where it starts to get sketchy. Because there are other sources of fertilizer.
People. You're eating people.
Including people, because New York was one of the first states to sign a bill that allows human bodies to be composted. Do you see why I say the corruption in this part of the country is ridiculous? I'm not saying that I'm a conspiracy theorist. What I am saying is I'm starting to understand where some of these theories get legs. We're going to go plant-based, we're going to reduce our emissions, and somehow the composting of human corpses will factor into the reduction of the food-based emissions. Which, by the way, now we don't need all of this room for cemeteries and mausoleums, so we can build more low-income housing in New York. So that's how they're going to spin this one again.
I just see a headline. I'm not going to read any further than the headline. Mayor Adams discusses controversial new approach to NYC homeless problem. I think we can just stop at that headline right there, Mike. We don't need to dig any further. It sounds to me like he's got it solved.
Well, yeah, of course he does.
All right. So, going back to where we started the show before we get to our movie reviews, Canada, our friendly neighbor to the north. Now, she's not dead, but for some reason, Canadians are sharing their fondest memories of Sue Johansson. Now, do you guys know who Sue Johansson is?
No, never heard of her.
She took over for Dr. Ruth when Dr. Ruth Westheimer went off the air for the most part. So she had a wildly successful radio and television show called Talk Sex, where
Okay.
she would very matter-of-factly talk about issues of sex. She was known for using dolls and sex toys to illustrate positions and scenarios to give the viewer, especially of her television show, a graphical representation of what she was talking about. But she was also about 1,000 years old. So, it was like watching your grandma talk about anal. So just so that our audience can see. So this is Sue Johansson here. And it was Sex with Sue was also a name that she went by. But for some reason, all of a sudden, who knows how these things happen, but she's currently 92, and so she had, like I said, for a number of years had a call-in show where you could call in and you could just discuss things. And so people on this Reddit called Nostalgia were talking about the advice that they either heard or that they directly got from Sue Johansson, and just kind of reflecting on it. And some of the comments were interesting because it's like, her sex stuff is memorable, but are we not going to talk about how badass she was? When she was talking about abortion, it was still illegal at the time. She was an ally to the LGBTQ plus community at the height of the AIDS crisis. I learned a lot from about sex from this old lady. I'll never forget her showing proper condom etiquette and normalizing anal sex by the way she could casually talk about it. Somebody says, I bet she's a good lay. It's like an old grandma lady talking about hardcore sex. Grandma was always on at midnight. And I mean, this was an interesting show where she talked very frankly about it during a time, because her heyday for this was in the 90s, when it wasn't talked about in a clinical sense on television. I mean, you had shows like Loveline and stuff like that, but it was where, maybe, but I think Dr. Drew came out of this, really. I think Dr. Drew was able to happen because of this show.
Are we talking about the same Dr. Drew, like Celebrity Rehab Dr. Drew?
Dr. Drew was on Loveline before he was on Celebrity Rehab. He had a sex talk show on MTV.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like co-hosted that with when he just died a couple years ago?
Loveline.
Was it Norm?
It was a syndicate. It was not only a television show on MTV. Loveline. Adam Carolla.
Oh, it was Adam Carolla.
Adam Carolla.
The one from the Man Show who did not go on to huge things.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it was an interesting show, and so yeah, but that's actually where Dr. Drew got his big break, was in Loveline, like I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just asking, like, are they sharing fondest memories because she died or something, or did she retire?
She didn't. This just came up on the /nostalgia subreddit. I don't know. Again, I don't know what kind of triggers these things, but I guess
did it show up in the news? Yeah,
I guess
I noticed it in the news just to make any sense.
I guess it just came up. I think maybe it just got released on Hulu, is why it suddenly came into the ethos now. So
she's 2 years younger than Dr. Ruth. And just because I hadn't even thought of her for years, I looked it up. Yeah, Dr. Ruth is 94 now. And she did something with Whip Shots, which is some kind of vodka-infused whipped cream this year, with a bunch of clips of her. It's called whip shots of pleasure with Dr. Ruth.
Oh,
so,
okay. I honestly thought Dr. Ruth was gone.
No.
No.
That I can tell you. I know she's one of the ones that I check monthly for the database.
Somebody said this show was completely hilarious. A grandma talking about ass play and how to give a proper BJ. So I guess, if you have Hulu, you can look at this show and I'm sure a lot of what she's talking about is just as relevant today as what it was back in the 90s. So Talk Sex with Sue Johansson. If you're interested, look it up.
So I said earlier, and I don't want to forget, this is we only have 15 minutes left here. Florida. So there was a YouTube video recently that was talking about Florida Man.
Yes.
And why Florida Man is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why Florida Man is a thing, it turns out, is because usually in the U.S., if someone gets arrested, then you have to go, and if you're the press and you find out about it somehow, then you have to go and get a Freedom of Information Act to find out what happened. And then, weeks later, you could have a story about this wacky thing that happened with someone in Nebraska.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before.
In Florida.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this before, that they expedite this stuff.
Well, it's more than that. So it turns out in Florida, because of the records thing, not only can you get to it without doing a Freedom of Information Act, but if the police know that you're a local reporter, then they will just give you a call or an email, let you know that this guy just got arrested for something funny.
Yeah. So
anyway, that's the origination of Florida Man is not because people are necessarily crazy in Florida. It's because the police will let you know about it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I was actually very disappointed. You mentioned Florida Man, and I was very disappointed that there is a new series on Netflix.
I saw that.
Called Florida Man. But it's about a disgraced cop who's forced to return to his home for a shady mission only to get swept up in a treasure hunt. So it sounds like it sounds like something I'd be interested in. But I'm a little disappointed that they actually called this Florida Man, and they couldn't come up with something better because it has nothing to do with the stereotypical Florida Man as we've come to know.
Yeah, and it stars the same guy that was in Yes Day. The guy who played the dad in Yes Day.
Okay, very much the same reason why I was very aggravated when I found out that Nicolas Cage's G-Force was not a live-action gotcha man, but rather a thing with frickin' gerbils. Or guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs, yeah. All right, so we'll get into this a little bit early because I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about on tonight's double feature movie review. So on the last show that we were at, we said we would talk about Spiderhead and Crazy on the Outside. So we've got a relatively new movie. Spiderhead just came out, I believe, maybe last year, starring Chris Hemsworth. It was on Netflix. And then Crazy on the Outside, which I found on Roku. I think it was also available on Freevee.
Yes.
Yeah. So, which stars Tim Allen and is from 2010. So which one do we want to go to first?
Oh, let's get rid of the Crazy on the Outside.
Crazy on the Outside. Colin, good choice. You're up.
Yeah, let's be fast because I never actually finished this movie. This is a very if you have something that you've been wanting to do and you've been procrastinating and not getting it done, this is a great movie because you can watch this movie and then you'll discover there's many other things that you'd rather be doing than watching this movie. I started a garden. I planted tomatoes and zucchini, and I got my taxes done. So I got my taxes done because I'd rather do that. Oh, and I cleaned my room. I cleaned my room. I did taxes and I gardened instead of finishing this movie. From what I saw of it, it's a Tim Allen movie. Apparently, I think he directed this movie too. Yeah, and he plays an ex-con who was in prison because he pirated movies. The kind of thing that only people in Hollywood would think is a good thing to, he can't have robbed a convenience store or something because he's Tim Allen, so he pirated movies. That's it. Yes, that's about as far as I got. I started reading. I kind of jumped ahead and read a synopsis of the entire plot, and that made me want to watch this movie even less. So this is a DNF for me. I could not watch this. For whatever reason, the combination of Tim Allen and the stupid plot and the characters, I could not watch it. I'm sorry.
All right. I'll go next. Okay, so Crazy on the Outside. This is a movie I had my wife watch with me. She was pretty bored with it. I, of course, watched this through the lens of the show and said, hey, not bad considering some of the other stuff we've watched. Now, I agree with Colin. They could have picked another crime that Tim Allen could have gotten, pinched with. I don't know. Maybe cocaine smuggling. That might have been a little bit more true to life. That would have been more fun. Maybe. But no copywriting videotapes. Sure, why not? Sure, in 2010 that was still a thing, right? Making copies of DVDs and videos on VHS. I did really like J.K. Simmons in this. I enjoyed every scene he was in where he talks about, because Sigourney Weaver, to spare the mother, says that Tim Allen wasn't in jail. He went to France. And J.K. Simmons, as the brother-in-law, says, well, do you plan on going back to France? A lot of people go back to France once they come home. Recidivism to France is pretty big. So I did love all of those. Those were good. Kelsey Grammer had a bit part in this show, but it was I could take or leave him in this. Honestly, it was a bit weird. But anyway, it was overall, I think it was mildly entertaining. It was not the best. I looked at this as, this is going to be like My Blue Heaven. That's what I thought this was going to be. It wasn't. It was something completely different. They could have done better, but I'll give them a meh. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was okay. And that's what I look for in a movie like this, is just okay. So. All right, Mike.
So one of the first lines said in this movie is, hate is for Hitler. No, doesn't. It's healthy to have some hate. Otherwise, you love everything, and not everything is deserving of love. So, there you go. All this stuff because they're lying for grandma, and they even gave him a fake fiance. Wow, I've never even gone that far. Eye patch as a bikini. Guys, I'm not even going to try and figure that one out. And I want to know what the hell Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite is now doing making French fries. He won the high school football championship back in the day. Okay, so I got to laugh about this one based off of one of the previous segments here. Grandma smells like corn. Does corn really have a smell? I mean, I'm not talking about cooked corn. I'm talking raw from the fields. And based off of what we talked about earlier, you guys would probably know better than me. Colin may still have the website to decide, to tell me whether Illinois does more corn than Jersey. an adult toy party, and he shows up in costume from the okay, and he's driving around, and Tim Allen is using his personal truck, the same truck that he used in Last Man Standing. It's kind of sad that I noticed that. The final gripe about this movie is that they are having the new girlfriend over to meet the family, and you're going to serve her meatloaf. No such thing as good meatloaf, people. This, like Shaggy, I gave this a meh. There's no other way to describe it. If anything, this rating should be lower. Right? You have an amazing cast of characters here. Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Kelsey Grammer, J.K. Simmons, Julie Bowen, whatever. And you did nothing with them, okay? The damn movie was barely enjoyable for me. It barely.
Yeah. Agreed. All right.
This was 4 years before Whiplash, so J.K. Simmons wasn't big enough yet to not do this kind of thing. But yes, I will say for the bit I saw, I enjoyed his character more than anything else. You know, I just think you're realizing something. I think I have a deep dislike of Tim Allen, and that's the reason why I couldn't watch this movie, because he was in every scene that I watched. I don't know where that came from.
Well, he's a main character. He should be in just about every scene.
I know. I'm just saying he kept showing up in every scene, and I end up doing my taxes instead. I'll have to figure that out.
Well, what do you think of the Santa Claus movies?
I never actually, I mean, the original ones, yes. I watched the original ones, but, you know, I'm just realizing I never got around to watching the new ones that came out this last year.
Oh, the TV series?
That's okay. Neither did I.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Neither did I. What about Galaxy Quest?
As I said, I don't have a problem with older or younger, I guess, Tim Allen. It's older Tim Allen for some reason. I don't know.
Do you not like staunch Republicans, Tim Allen? Is that your problem?
I don't think that's the problem.
Okay. Well, I was just curious.
But I really haven't, I don't know.
And to your point, like they dance around, they send him to jail for pirating movies, but Tim Allen was arrested for drug trafficking.
Yeah, yeah.
So they could have gone a little more, I don't know, realistic.
Maybe they didn't want to.
If I had made the mistake of reading the plot and then finding all that stuff, it's just like, oh. Anyway, let's get to our next one.
Real quick, just going back to our Sue Johansson, Mama Blair, right? But grandmas were once just as young as you are now. Sex isn't a new thing. I tell you, we're not that young anymore. We're not, but those whippersnappers still are. Yeah. All right. Yes.
Now,
next.
All right.
Movie.
Well, real quick. When did we say this came out?
2010 is when the Tim Allen movie came out.
Okay. So J.K. Simmons was in Spider-Man in 2002 as J. Jonah Jameson in the original Tobey Maguire series. So he did have...
He was big by the time this hit.
He was known, but Whiplash is the one that moved him out of being, hey, it's that guy from the State Farm commercials, to being someone who was recognized as a great actor, I guess is the... as opposed to guy who played a character in Spider-Man and State Farm. Or is it State Farm? Is that no? Farmers Insurance.
All right. Next up, Spiderhead, Netflix.
Speaking of spiders.
So we'll let Colin go first.
Spiderhead. That's his. I guess it was based off a story from the New Yorker or something. Anyway, this is a weird science fiction kind of think Twilight Zone type thing, like a Twilight Zone episode blown up to the length of a movie. Stars Miles Teller and can't remember his name, Thor. So we got a bunch of characters who are being experimented on because they are supposed to be in prison, and because they have agreed to be experimented on, they live in a nicer place. But it's as these kind of movies are, it's not as nice as it looks to be, because there's things that are lies and stuff. So if you like this kind of deep science fiction-y look at the world and stuff, it's not a bad thing to watch. I will just say it has its problems. I think the script needed at least another rewrite before they actually shot this thing. It looks like, to me, like they kind of started running out of money. They could have done some pickups and done some additional scenes and fixed some characters and some storylines, because it's just kind of the end of the movie just kind of it just happens. The very end of the movie is great. It has a good beginning, and it builds up for a little bit too long, and then there's just kind of things happen for no, just kind of just eh. And then there's a great ending scene. That part was great. I'm going to give this a smile, because I do enjoy this kind of film. I just think that very easily could have been it could have been great. I could have given this a super high score if they just done a little bit more.
All right. So, Chris Hemsworth has branched out, and he's done other things other than Marvel movies. This is his attempt to try to get into cerebral thriller suspense. Like Colin said, it's based off a short story that they obviously have tried to pull and stretch to fill an entire movie. And you can see where that's played out. Now, one of the cores of this movie is based on an actual scientific experiment that was done where, there's a lot of different experiments. But anyway, one of the things that bugged me about this is, okay, so these packs on their backs, which hold these vials, are super important to the experiment, right? Why'd they make them so damn easy to break? Back up against the wall too hard, it breaks, it shatters, and too much gets injected, and that ruins the experiment. All this other kind of stuff. I mean, shouldn't they have built them a little bit more sturdy? I mean, they knew what was going to happen in these sessions. It seemed like it was a plot device to make them fragile. And it just, I don't know. I don't like these kind of films, first of all, so I was really surprised that I got through it. And I really don't like it when there's a emotional element aimed, in addition to the suspense element, because you had people who really cared about each other, but then they were forced into situations where they had to do negative things to each other, and it just it throws me for a loop. It's all I can say is it's akin to in what was the movie with Jessie from Saved by the Bell, where she was a stripper dancer?
Showgirls.
It's akin to the rape scene in Showgirls. It just weirds me out. So I don't like that type of stuff. So for me, this movie did not resonate well. I sat through it, and that's about it. And it just, I don't like playing with people's emotions like that, because it makes mean, I guess the director does a good job of getting those emotions into me and making me feel those weird, funny things, but I don't like it. So, you know, I'm going to give this, just for me personally, a probably a frown, just a step below meh, whatever that is. It's not verp, but something above verp, and between verp and meh, whatever that is. And, you know, again, like I said, it's just not for me. If you like thriller, suspense, you know, intellectual, you know, things like that, this is probably your speed, but it's just not mine. All right, Mike.
Okay. So, good or bad, I'm going to take credit. I put this on the list. When I saw that Miles Teller and Journey Smollett were the leads, I was all about it, because they are two of the best actors in their generation in Hollywood. Helmsworth was just kind of a bonus. Now, they're cooking nectarines and prosciutto. I am intrigued, but I am not sure how I feel about that. I don't like my fruit wrapped with meat. Miles Teller is a damn genius with an Etch-a-Sketch. That's all I'm going to say. All right, he rivals Buddy the Elf with the work he's doing on that Etch-a-Sketch. Okay, I had made some comments about scenes with that Shaggy expressed distaste to, so I'm going to skip over those.
No, it's okay. You can make them if you want. That's fine.
But, well, no, because the first one I figured I was like, okay, Shaggy, here you go. This is your bonus scene, which was between Heather and Jeff, which was the one where they both kind of enjoyed it. Then I'm like, well, Miles Teller is going to go back and he's going to tell his boo what happened, and that's how the entire movie starts going sideways, isn't it? But then they had the second scene where it's Jeff and the crackhead, and that brings you back out of that comfort zone and makes you say, no, this is not right. And thankfully, they didn't take it one step further with the bodybuilder dude. The inclusion of Thomas Dolby in the soundtrack is a very pleasant cherry on top of this movie. Did not expect that. Should be more Thomas Dolby used on soundtracks. But then out, spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. I will continue. Then we find out that the dude is dosing himself. And now we know how this whole thing goes off the rails. And to Shaggy's point, why I understand why they made these packs so accessible. It's because they're changing out the compounds and, you know, easily refilling the vials. But why are they so fragile? And to your point, it's the red matter of this movie. So I'll keep this short. Puke to Schnikes. I'm going to give this a smile. This movie, if you're paying attention, is semi-predictable. A couple of twists and turns, but nothing that really alters the trajectory of the ending. Overall, it wasn't bad. I felt like this was kind of the opposite of Crazy on the Outside, where the cast did not do the script any favors, did not elevate the script in any way. This one, I feel like the cast and their acting actually brought the story up a little bit better, made it a little more enjoyable than it should have been, if that makes sense. Put any other actors in this movie, and it would have gotten a lower rating. I feel like they did a great job with what they had at telling the story.
Makes sense.
So, I think, because Shaggy, I actually would agree. I don't like emotional manipulation movies. And I think they're actually at the level they were at in this movie was somewhat detached. And because of that, I found it acceptable. So, to clarify where my problem is with the movie is, once Miles Teller's character figured out what was going on, there didn't seem to be any, because at that point, that's where the plot should have started. That's where the movie should have started. Then there should have been a bit of a cat and mouse thing going on between those two characters, and some, does he know, doesn't he know, some back and forth, a little bit of intrigue there. But instead, he talks to another guy. That guy goes and gets the police, and then you have a little bit of Keystone Cop running around, and then the movie's over.
Yeah.
That's where my problem is with the movie.
Yep.
So this is based on a short story that appeared in the New York Times called Escape from Spiderhead. And some of the points that you guys are bringing up apparently were actually in the original short story. So.
Yeah. All right. All right. So what are we up to now for movies? Let's pick the new ones.
We're at 32.
32. Uh, 31.
Well, I know this one is out there already. Oh no! Hold on. Let me log in because apparently I got signed out of Netflix. Let me see if this is still available. Oh, it's not. No, is it? No. It was a movie called Palms, P-O-M-S, with Diane Keaton.
Oh.
All right, so full disclosure, I've seen this movie before. It is not the typical kind of movie we would review on this show because it does have an overarching dark theme to it.
Is it like
mortality?
Is it like Last Laugh?
No, you know what? It's kind of like what was that Bruce Willis one? The Last Movie Star? Is that the not Bruce Willis? What's his face? Smokey and the Bandit. Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
Watched.
Okay.
The Last Movie Star, I think. It's kind of along that line.
Okay.
So if it's out there, I don't know if we want to try and find it and
well, we
do
can
it,
see
or...
if it's we can maybe we'll hold it for another time. It'll come back up around.
All right, so I won't delete it off the sheet.
Right.
I'll just leave. Okay.
How about 15?
Uh, 15 is on Netflix. It's called Guest House.
Ooh.
And the description just says comedy. So.
Really?
Pauly Shore. Oh.
No.
What? Really? It's 2020 and it has Pauly Shore in it? No way. Can't be.
Yep.
Really? Okay. Well, that'll be fun.
That's only an hour and 24 minutes.
I haven't seen The Whistle in a long time. All right, number 4.
I'm sorry, what number?
4.
4.
Quattro.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Well,
what do we do? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got?
No, that's all right. It's not.
That's
It's
a
not
deep
available.
cut.
It's a Bruce Willis movie,
Oh, okay.
but it's not available
a
on
Bruce
Netflix.
Willis
So.
movie. It's Hudson Hawk.
Hudson Hawk. Have you seen Hudson Hawk, Mike?
It's been a long time.
Oh, okay. Well, we've all seen it anyway, so that's okay.
This is not one that I'm going to be rating to leave on the list because it's
Okay.
Bruce Willis. There's
No.
no good answers at this point.
All right. 19.
19.
It was Bruce Willis and Danny Aiello. Let's be clear.
Oh dear Lord! I know. Well, Thank God, can't find this one.
Jesus.
Off of Amazon called Teen Lust. I wonder who put that on a list.
Colin.
Just after Stewardess School.
Hey, I watched Stewardess School. It was very good.
Yeah, okay.
That's fun. Number 5.
5. This one I know will be available because it's a Netflix original. Yep. Peppermint. Jennifer Gardner goes psycho once her family gets killed.
That sounds familiar.
After her family is murdered, a mild-mannered mom remakes herself into a badass vigilante in order to exact a violent justice.
So this I think I think the plot to this is going to be similar to like Gunpowder Milkshake
could be
for some reason.
It's essentially a story of revenge that carries the same energy as John Wick, according to IMDb, which I just watched the first John Wick the other day. So, you know.
The Baba Yaga.
So.
I enjoy watching people reacting to that. To see... For the people who like know something about it, they're like, that's one thing. The people who have no idea what it is, they're just watching it. And they're like, who's John Wick? Why do people keep...
Don't hurt the doggies.
I thought he's just this guy.
Don't hurt the doggies. Right, Mike? Don't hurt the dogs.
Don't ever hurt the dogs.
All right. Well, I think that does it for tonight's show. So, with that said, folks, I think we are going to call it an evening. So, thanks everybody for tuning in and playing along with us at home. Don't forget you can get a copy of the home game. Just send $9.99 to our P.O. Box, which is located nowhere. And, if you'd like
it's in Delaware.
Yeah, if you'd like a transcript of the show, you better have written down really fast. But we'll be back in, is it 2 weeks that we're back, or next week, or when the hell are we back on again?
Well, next week was supposed to be the scheduled week.
Okay. Do we want to stay with that? I don't care.
I don't care.
All right. Well, we'll just, for right now, we'll say we're going to be on next week on the 24th. So we'll go from there, folks. So stay tuned to our social media channels, though, for changes and upcoming events. And don't forget, if you're in the Central Illinois area, I am running a trivia night on Friday night. So if you're interested, check out a Facebook page, and you can find all the details there. But it's going to be a fun night, and it's for a good cause for Tri-City Library, which covers Buffalo, Dawson, and another place. Yeah, so it'll be fun, it's cheap, and entertaining, and I'm going to be there. So why wouldn't you want to be there? So, and Mike, you got any more gigs coming up anytime soon?
I have a basket raffle and something else on the 30th. So 2 weeks from now.
Nice.
That's already sold out, so I can't even tell you if you want to come see it. You can.
You can just gate crash.
Find the info.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, it's at a Knights of Columbus, I believe. So you can go hang out in the bar, and you'll be able to hear my voice.
That's right.
That's about it.
Just bring signs, stand outside, and go, "We want Mike. We want Mike." You know.
Sure.
Yeah. Bring a crowd. Bring a crowd. Start honking your horns. Devil music. Knights of Columbus really like that. And you do that. All hail Satan. Bring Mike out. You know, that kind of stuff.
No. See, if you're gonna do it, you got to bring a donation. You got to bring a donation to the animal rescue.
And a donation. And a donation. Yeah. So pitchforks, flaming crosses, donations. That's what you need to bring for Knights of Columbus. All right. So.
Killing me.
All right, folks. It's good to be back. Don't forget to check out PTRradio.com, where you can find all the information out about the show, as well as all of our social media channels at PTR Radio on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. I think that's it for us, though, folks. I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I am Mike the 8-Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.
You can't even help yourself with the